Hello, everyone. Welcome to my talk. I'm Arohi Naik. I'm presenting on Beyond the Paying Data Risks in Femtech You Can't Ignore. I'm Arohi. I am a security engineer at SQR. I have a MSc in cybersecurity. I just started public speaking this year, and it's going really well, so I'm enjoying it thoroughly. And I write blogs on Substack now. That's also I started just this year, and I write more about femtech, about cybersecurity, human factors in cybersecurity. If you find it interesting, I have a QR code at the end of the talk, so you can scan it. So let's get started. So this project started because I was looking for a period tracker for myself, which is a Femtech app. And because I work in cybersecurity, I have studied it, I am very paranoid about data practices and in general putting my data into any app or any software service. So that's why I did my due diligence with the period trackers. I asked a few friends, read reviews on Google. Um, I went on to read their privacy policies as well a bit to see if, they're not dodgy. But to my surprise, they were dodgy. Um, and that's how I got into researching more and more into it. Ran into a rabbit hole of really crazy, creepy, um, rather strange privacy policies and data collection practices. And that's why I'm here to share my findings with you, and I hope you take something from here today. So the agenda for today is we are going to get through what is Femtech, which is Femtech 101, then how the industry is growing, then we will go through why we tap, swipe, and log, just like dating apps or Instagram. Then we would go through aesthetic empowerment, the reason why these apps were built in the first place. Then the data collection practices, the privacy policies, some relevant regulation that we have in place right now in the UK, and then we would go through potential solutions or how we can build a better privacy-first world in Femtech. Then we would go through a socio-technical threat model that I think is beneficial right now, and a bit of call for action, how you can take back control of your data. So everyone good? Yeah? So Femtech. Um, Femtech, the term Femtech was invented in 2016 by Ida Tin, the co-founder of the very famous app Clue. What it means is female technology. It's a term used to define software and services that use technology tailored towards women's health. So it includes fertility apps, period tracker apps, pregnancy and nursing care, women's health, sexual wellness, and reproductive system healthcare. Femtech is not just limited to the mobile apps, but it also includes diagnostics, telehealth services, and wearables. These apps have been quite famous since 2021, but they exist since 2010. So what happened in 2021 that made these apps so famous? Well, the very famous app Flow, which you might have heard this year as well, was found by FTC, the Federal Trade Commission of US, to be sharing users' intimate data with marketing and analytics services like Meta or Google, and it was really terrible. It made a lot of people really skeptical about the data, but also it gave the industry a hope, a boost, and that's why a lot of femtech apps started then coming up. I think it was a blow when the Flow app data controversy happened, but it did open up the femtech industry quite a lot after that, until this happened again this year. Flow Health, Google settled a class action privacy lawsuit for 56 million. Isn't it crazy? But more crazier than that is how the industry is growing so fast. Based on a growth rate of 30.8%, Femtech is expected to be worth more than 668.3 million by 2027. And this is just for the UK. So globally, it's crazy going on right now. It's really insane. But the question is, are we taking it seriously enough? These apps are tremendously famous. Most of them have like 250 million plus subscribers, downloads for a whole year. Um, and still, they lack a lot of data collection practices and security measures. But why do they have these many subscribers? Or why are we downloading these apps so fast here and there without even thinking once? What is the user value? Why do we keep swiping, tapping, logging in? It's like addiction, you know. You just log once and it asks you more questions, so you log more and more and more. But the basic reason for these apps to come up at first was empowerment towards reproductive health services for women. And then it is kind of easy to log in an app rather than tracking your cycle manually. It helps you understand your body better. It helps you manage fertility. If you are avoiding pregnancy or achieving pregnancy, it helps with that as well. It gives you a lot of emotional validation. With AI-powered insights now, it has become really better in terms of functionality. I would say that it's easy to get emotional validation from AI. And then again, a lot of these apps have a community feature where you can ask questions in the community, meet like-minded people. So yeah, it gives you a sense of community as well. And of course, convenience. It's so easy to download an app and go on and log it there, and it gives you notification every month that you know you're going to be PMSing now, and then again, if you're feeling cranky, eat a chocolate. It feels validating at times, yes. But all these apps come with so much of these empowering slogans. They are just too wrapped in it. And I do question if this is empowering. I think it feels empowering at times, but it does not match the reality of the situation. But let's go through some of these. I'm sure you might have heard of these. You might have got an ad on YouTube or Instagram, and you have seen this for sure. It says Spirit Power, empowerment through knowledge, your health simplified. Achieve your goals from period to parenting. My favorite one is all natural birth control powered by your body's signals. Sounds empowering, isn't it? It does. But this empowerment does have an aesthetic. And I think once you spot it, you can't unsee it. Want to have a look? These are all famous period tracking apps. Do you sense a theme here? Anyone? Yeah? It is pink. It is so pink. It's annoyingly pink. But yeah, that's the aesthetic they use deliberately, and I get it. Pink is a feminine color. They use it for visibility and inclusion, but it's just too pink. And it is stereotypical, I think so. A bit. But then you would question, what is beyond the pink? Before that, we'll go through, have you heard about pink tax? So pink tax is usually associated with women paying much more for just everyday products, like your razors, like deodorants, or shampoos. And it's not really associated with Femtech as such. But with AI-powered insights, and Femtech now has premium versions as well, where you pay for them, and they say that if you pay, you get anonymous mode, or if you pay us, then we will keep your data secure, but not true. Uh, but yeah, I think pink tax has found its way into Femtech as well. And it's just not about money. It's more about privacy costs, data exploitation, and emotional labor rather than just direct price markups. So yeah, what is beyond the pink? Well, it's purple. I'm not kidding. It's really purple. So purple is the second most used color in Femtech. And again, stereotypical. But yeah, again, it's used for, feminine and soft color, for visibility. But I think these designs and marketing strategies are so much more powerful, but they're so easy to make assumptions about gender and emotions. If it's just, I think we have so much power in these marketing strategies in terms of Femtech that Femtech was actually built to empower people, and I think it's going away from the very basic empowerment. All the Femtech market right now is driven more by, um, you know, the consumerism rather than focusing more on like research and scientific validation. So all of the funding is mostly going towards AI or towards how we can give more functionality, how we can build a sense of community for people, or how we can make them more pink or purple, but hardly towards funding or towards research or towards security as well. And that's a big gap right now. So beyond the pink is basically looking beyond these marketing strategies and big, bold colors. Um, it's more about what lies behind it. There's a complex ecosystem of data, algorithms, and sometimes invisible risks that we would go through in just a bit. So, data collection practices. So when I was looking at these apps, I thought, let's try some of these. So I tried like 4 apps at once because I just wanted data to compare what goes where. And to my surprise, all of those apps gave me different insights. So one app was telling me that my cycle is supposed to start on the 26th of a month. And the other was telling me, no, it's 6 days before. And it's a big gap. And I think the more these apps tell you that, we are making it more precise. You don't need to manually log your cycle because it's inaccurate. I was taught to track my cycle on a calendar hung back at my kitchen door. And I get it that it's beautiful to look at these apps. It's more easier, more convenient because it gives you notifications once in a while. But then again, is it safe? Is it safe enough? Do we know what data these apps collect about us? Let's go through it. So once you download an app, before anything, before even you sign up sometimes, a pop-up appears asking you to accept the terms and conditions. So they say, we are going to collect this information about you. We need you to accept our terms and conditions or privacy policies. And we don't even read the whole thing there. We just go take, or just accept all and agree to it because I want to use the app. Why would I stay so long reading everything or click on terms and conditions or privacy policies, which are way too long? So again, yes. But once you accept all, it starts collecting your device information, your device ID, or your app usage, background activity. And this is just passive data. Once you sign up and get into the app, it asks you for, while signing up, of course, it asks you for your email, your name, contact information, sometimes location as well. It asks you if you want it to track your location, if you are allowing it to access your media and camera. And most of us just say, yes, I allow it. Because why not? What's the harm in it? And then it doesn't stop there. It's still your PII on the identity layer. It's the personally identifiable information. And if it's misused, it might harm the user directly. But they don't stop there. Most of these apps have this amazing feature of mood tracking. So you can track your everyday mood on it. So you go, you say, I'm happy today, or I'm sad today, I'm angry today, I'm anxious today, lots of moods. And it changes, it gives you insight over your mood as well. That, one of the apps sent me a notification when just 2 days before my period saying, you must be cranky today, you should eat some chocolate. I wasn't cranky, but I was cranky after seeing the notification. So, yeah, the next step in this is just collecting the behavioral data. How much time you spend on each screen, or what features of the app you use the most. Frequency, interactions, this is all the behavioral layer. And again, they don't stop there as well. They ask you for more questions about your menstrual cycle, about medical history, doctor visits. How was your flow today? Or how much do you weigh? Or did you sleep well? It's really friendly. Did you exercise today? Oh, you should exercise today. Or how's your mental health going? Are your stress levels okay? Ooh, I think you're really stressed. You should drink more water. It might help your skin as well. Or for women with children, they ask for breastfeeding data, lactation data. Some of them do ask more about your mental health, your relationships. They ask about your diet, nutrition, birth control usage, medication, medical history. There's so much. And don't you think this is really intimate personal information about yourself? And why would I want to tell someone about my sleep pattern every day? Do you go around a park for a walk and just tell someone that, I did not sleep well today? Or, I'm really tired today. You don't start this as a conversation starter with someone, isn't it? But you do tell the app, you log into it and you just tell it, I did not sleep well today, or my mood is just sad or anxious today. And what the app does, it works on the patterns, isn't it? It does not know you. Meet Emma. So Emma's my friend, and she just had a baby. She's juggling her work, she's juggling her baby, and it's really hard. It's really difficult for her. But what makes it easier for her is her Femtech app. So she tends to log all her breastfeeding data into her app every day. So she has got a routine for herself. She wakes up middle of the night sometimes. She wakes up at 7 a.m. Then she does some work, goes to the workplace, sometimes takes her baby with her. Then she goes for a walk around 2:30 after finishing off her work. She goes in a particular park, goes to a specific grocery store, and then goes back home and is at home with her baby alone by herself. This is how she logs it. At 2:15, she has fed the baby. At 7:45, she has fed the baby. At 2:30 in the afternoon, she has fed the baby. And again at 9:30 in the night. But this is how the app sees it. She's at home at 2:15 a.m. She's at home at 7:45. She's at home at she's at workplace at after 9 a.m. And she goes to this park for just a stroll and sits on a particular park bench with her baby around 2:30 every day. What she has missed out on is that the app is collecting her location as well in the background, and she doesn't know about it because it was really hard for her while she was signing up for an app. She just ticked all tracking allowed and then just went on to use the app. But then, just imagine if this data falls in the wrong hands. If this data falls into the hands of a stalker, abusive ex-partner, or data brokers, what would be the consequences? This is not just metadata for them. It's power to intimidate her, it's power to show up where she least expects it. And it's just crazy, isn't it? It is insane. It is not just a privacy risk anymore. It is a physical safety risk. And that is why I think Femtech or health data in general should not be treated as just a wellness technology. It is real. It is real risk which has real consequences and needs real protection. Do you think it's Emma's fault that she did not check the privacy policies, did not read the terms and conditions? Do you think she should have read the privacy policy at least once? Just skimmed through it to see what data is being collected. Or she should have known while saying yes to her location tracking. It's the fine print that you miss, isn't it? But tell me, do you even read it? Do we even go through the 5,000 long privacy policies just to find that your data is not being collected well? Because they also hide it in layers of legal jargon. It's really difficult. And I think it's not human error, it's not ignorance. It is more the lack of how privacy policies should or consent mechanisms work in general. But yeah, have you ever read any privacy policies? Yeah? So they're pretty long, isn't it? But I thought it's my hobby now because I've read so many of them. But again, when I started reading these, I found some ambiguities in their language. Some of them said, we may share your data with trusted partners, and your data is used to improve our services. Who are these trusted partners? They haven't mentioned that. Or, what services are you improving with what kind of data? Or they say, we do not sell your data to third-party applications, but then 3 lines just before that, they say, we use it for marketing and advertising. It is still data monetization. Mozilla did this project called Privacy Not Included, like 3 years ago. And there they did a review of all privacy policies of these Femtech apps because of the Flow app data controversy, basically. And there, they found so much ambiguity in language. And they have really well done with the whole project. And they have rated these apps on a level of creepiness from least to most. And you would be surprised to see the most famous apps being the most creepiest. It is crazy. It's a study worth checking out. But again, it was done in 2022, and I thought it's been 3 years now. Things might have changed. So I took it upon me to review all the privacy policies, because again, it's my hobby to read privacy policies now. So when I was going through it, I was really hopeful. I was absolutely hopeful that it would be a different kind of result. But it was not, unfortunately. There were still ambiguities in language. There was much more legal jargon now. And I saw a pattern building up. They used these 3 magical words. With your consent. Sometimes twice in a paragraph. And it is annoying. They say, with your consent, we may share some of your non-health personal data with third parties to promote their services. Again, what services, we don't know. You acknowledge and agree that even if you are not a registered user with us, we may collect information about you if a registered user has provided us with your information to facilitate services. With your consent, you may allow us to connect with third-party services. And let me tell you this very particular thing. With one of the apps, they did mention that they share data with third parties with your consent. But they have mentioned like 1 or 2 third parties in their privacy policies or terms and conditions. And there was, again, a study done this very year. And they did a search from the browser developer tools. And they found so many more third-party applications where the data is being shared, but it was never mentioned. Again, they say, if you use this service, you authorize us to collect your basic profile information from, again, a social media platform, such as your name, your address, your profile picture. And with your consent, we start sharing the following personal data with this third party and its integrated partners to promote the services. How are you promoting the services? Just, I need it in written. A lot of these apps have this feature to sync your data with variables. It's easy and good because you can see your, how are you doing, just from your watch. But it's pretty fun to do that. But again, if you read the consent policies of these apps with the wearables, they seem a bit of irresponsible. Like they're just blaming each other for responsibility of your data, such as we are not responsible for what third parties do with your data. Please review the privacy policies of the third party or your wearable. This is what the Femtech app says. But then, if you go and check out the privacy policy of the wearables, they say that we get this data from a third party and we are not liable for anything with it. We just get it. We don't care how it's being collected. Where is the accountability? Who do we complain to if anything happens to our data? There's a lot of compliance, but there's just lack of accountability, and it's just really strange for me. But then who does protect us? Do you think there's a regulation in place just for Femtech? Or do you think it should be there? Well, it's not there yet. But we have got 3 very relevant regulations. The GDPR, the General Data Protection Regulation, which governs how sensitive data is to be processed. We have the ASA, which is the Advertising Standards and Codes. It gives guidelines to marketing companies, to influencers, how to market their app, basically. But again, it's a very reactive kind of agency, and unless there's a complaint, it cannot act on it. So. And there's MDR. I want you to remember MDR, which is the Medical Device Regulation. Just remember it for the next 10 minutes at least. So it determines when an app counts as a medical device and should meet the safety regulations and testing standards. So just imagine you go on your Google App Store or your Apple App Store and you see a really famous Femtech app with 4 stars. It's amazing, got amazing reviews to it. People are saying, you know, my app detected my PCOD before my GP could. Amazing app. It's labeled as health and fitness. It helps in diagnosis. It predicts fertility for contraception. It helps you log and monitor a medical condition. It provides medically reliable insights. And this is all that MDR requires a medical device to do. So don't you think that the Femtech app should be labeled as a medical device rather than just health and wellness? But this is what companies do right now. Calling it just a wellness app or health and fitness device means bypassing all the regulation and not following any clinical evaluation of the app, which is way easier. The thing is, with MDR, the MDR states that the intended purpose of your tool or your application is to be decided by the owner or regulator of the app. And that's where the problem is. Because it's in the hands of people who build the app, they conveniently say that they are just a wellness technology and not a medical tool, even if they do all of these things. Predict conception rate, log and track your symptoms. One of these apps does say that you are 2 days past ovulation. In 14 days, if you have not started your period, take a pregnancy test. Isn't this health advice? It is. What do we need right now? We need transparent labeling. We need clearer classifications. We need strong data protection guidance. And I think it's time we have a dedicated regulation for Femtech, or just health services in general. In the EU, there's EHDS, the European Health Digital Service coming up. It's like an act which would regulate digital services in terms of healthcare. But again, it revolves around general healthcare more than just women and reproductive healthcare. And I think it's time we step up. Because who is responsible to ensure privacy? The Femtech apps are not taking any responsibility. So I think it's time that as a tech community, we need to look more into it. And how do we build a privacy-first future? Well, a privacy-first future. Have you heard about security by design or security first? So it's basically when we look at security from the very start of the design process of an application or a tool. It's the same, but with privacy. When you look at the privacy policies of these apps, the basic thing that they tell you that how they store our data or how they collect the data and keep it safe is data anonymization, which is just like wearing a mask. So a couple days back, a couple weeks back, basically, I went to this Halloween party, and I was on the organizing team. Emma was there as well. And we had everyone make these paper bag masks. So draw a face on it. Even if you're sad inside, just put a smiley on it. You can just anonymize your faces there. And it would be good fun. And that's what we did. And you cannot tell, right, just by looking at it, who's who. It's difficult to tell. But again, I know. Do you see Marie here? She wears the same necklace to every party, so I know that's her. Then besides her is Bob wearing his glasses, which he's wearing from 2012. Hasn't changed them. And then there's Mark, who poses a same way, a certain way, you cannot just miss it. This is how I can still figure out who's who. The masks anonymized it just for like 5 seconds, I guess. So data anonymization is still not enough. We have had research tell us multiple times now that it's really easy to trace back to the identity of a person if we just anonymize data. So it's really easy. If you have your cycle length, sleep pattern, device model, location radius, it's often unique enough to pinpoint to an individual. It's really easy. And that's why wearing a mask does not mean guaranteed anonymity. And that too with data that is so intimate and personal to a person, I think there should be more to it, isn't it? So here's a potential solution that I think might work. Again, I wouldn't say that this is the ultimate solution to it, it's enough. But differential privacy combined with a lot other things could be a potential solution to data anonymization at least. So what is differential privacy? Everyone wears a mask, and you add party noise. So it's basically adding mathematical noise to your data. So once you collect it, you add some mathematical noise to it, and that's how it flows ahead. So it's difficult to retrace back to the individual. So again, let's get back to the party once. So at the Halloween party, as I told, I was on the organizing committee. I'm an engineer, and then I work in tech, so they all assume that you're good at math, so they give you all the statistician jobs. So I was there, and I had to calculate how many people were dancing that night, how many ate pizzas, because important, how much money is going into food, and how many sang Taylor Swift, because Emma loves Taylor Swift. And she loves pizza, but she hates to dance. And she doesn't want anybody to know how much pizza she ate. She wants to keep it personal. And she came up to me and told me in my ear that, please do not put it on the WhatsApp group that I ate this much pizza. I think I ate worth 3 people and don't want anyone to know about it. I was like, okay. So I'm smart. I did a smart thing. I put this on the WhatsApp group. If there were 16 people who danced, I just said about 15. If 9 people ate pizza, I just said about 10-ish, And if 2 people sang, I say maybe 3. Because I think it was just Emma singing Taylor Swift, but again, come on. This helped me keep the trends useful enough. It did not harm anyone. Emma's identity wasn't exposed. So how it connects to Femtech is like it prevents attackers from pinpointing individuals, protects privacy even against sophisticated cross-dataset correlation. Again, only differential privacy is not enough. But if we take a decentralized user-controlled data model, it might help. I think the data is the safest when it does not leave your device, and that's why I advocate for on-device data processing. So if your data, your cycle data, cycle prediction is all on device and doesn't leave or doesn't go to cloud servers, then it's essentially safe, isn't it? It does not take much. It does not take a cloud server to predict your next date, like your cycle date. Um, for myself, I did this thing. I wrote a Python code which predicts my next cycle, and it's just on my device. It does not leave anywhere. I don't have to take a backup for it. A lot of these apps use cloud servers, which is fair enough. Where would you store all the data, isn't it? But again, with storing data on cloud servers, it leaves a lot of gap for more vulnerabilities. And then they do default backups. I think if the data is so much intimate and private to a person, at least you should ask if we want to back it up or not. There should be an option, isn't it? So Apple's health app, I'm not sponsored for this, by the way, but Apple's health app does it. It does on-device data storage and data processing, and then asks you if you want to back it up. But again, we use so many of these famous big apps which don't have this service, and I think they should. Again, it's not a norm, it's just one or two apps doing it. There's another app called Yuki, EUKI, which does on-device data processing. You can use it offline. It's really great. Then, user control deletion. When the Flow apps controversy happened in 2021-22, a lot of people became very skeptical around it, and a lot of women just deleted the apps because they were so scared about it. There's a lack of digital literacy here. And just deleting the app does not mean your data is being deleted. But under GDPR, we have the right to ask for a data deletion. The thing is, when you go into these apps and you ask them to, if you want to stop tracking, it's so difficult to find those settings. They are buried deep down in the app, and most of the times you just don't find them. I do think that it should be a bit easier to find those. And again, if you try deleting your data, you have to raise a support request with the application owners, and then they delete your data. It's a 4-week-long process, but works. So if you are scared enough by the end of this, go ahead. Then we have got encrypted data sinks. This is very interesting. So a lot of these apps have the functionality where you can sync your device data with other person's device. So it may be your partner, your besties, your loved ones, or even the moon. It is a thing. I'm not kidding. It's a real screenshot. There's this app that lets you sync your cycle with the moon with astrological insights. Isn't it amazing? Who wouldn't want it? You tell me about my cycle and also what's going to happen in my future. Wow. That's crazy. But when you sync it with your partner, your besties, and loved ones, which is, relatable, there's no end-to-end encryption involved. And they say this publicly in their privacy policies that we right now do not have end-to-end encryption for any of the data transfers, which is insane. I guess encryption is the basic security measure in 2025 at least. We should at least have it. And funnily enough, with this crazy sensitive data that is so personal for me, I don't want it to, give it to somebody, some attacker who has to, who would just use it against me. And it's just insane for me to just think about it. We are so ahead in our security advancements in AI, but this is just the basic encryption. I think Femtech is not just a technical issue to solve, but it's more personal, it's more social, it's more cultural. And that's why we need a socio-technical threat model to handle all of it. Do not get overwhelmed with all the data. We will go through it. Um, we need a socio-technical threat model because our assets are so intimate. It's personal or intimate health data, it's behavioral metadata, then it's user identity, shared privacy. Shared privacy meaning the data they collect is not just about you, it's about your partner, it's about your children, and it's all indirectly connected. And it's not difficult to build a digital profile of your data um, just like based on this data. And if, in fact, when you integrate these apps with other apps or wearables, or you say that we have given all the permissions to send us advertisements and marketing insights from the app, the data is leaving your device in any ways, isn't it? So when you combine all this data from all the sources, it's really easy to build a whole digital profile of your private life. And from there, it can just go haywire. So the threat actors are not only hackers or cyber criminals, but they are advertisers, data brokers, they are abusive partners, employers, stalkers, and even governments. In regions with restrictive abortion laws, a missed period in an app, or even if you have missed logging your period in an app, it's not just a data point. It can be interpreted as evidence of an abortion, which is insane. Has anyone heard about The Handmaid's Tale, the novel by Margaret Atwood? Yeah? There's a Netflix adaptation of the book as well into a series, which is great to watch. Um, so, The Handmaid's Tale is set up in a world called the Republic of Gilead, where women's reproductive rights are monitored, they are controlled and used against them. And this is just dystopian world, it's fiction, but it does not seem distant right now. And it's really uncomfortable to see the connection between today's femtech world and Handmaid's Tale, but it's the reality. When you see a lot of policies or say law enforcement being given permission to access your data from your health app without a warrant, it is really scary. Before I go to Sarah, this is a very personal insight I got from my talks around this year. So I was presenting at a conference this year earlier, and after my talk, a woman just walked up to me, and she was telling me that she worked in the US for a while, and she worked for a very big corporation, wouldn't name it, but again, she had a colleague there, and this is the story about her colleague, that she wanted to get an abortion done, and because the US laws are like that, that they vary from state to state. So this is from a long time, like around 5 to 7 years back. But she had to travel to a different state to get her abortion done. But when she traveled there, this is the heartbreaking part of it. They had to do a legal process for all of it. And they had to check up on where she is and where she's from, what she does. And her digital data gave it away that she is not from that state. And that's why she couldn't get it done there as well. She couldn't exercise her rights at all. It's really annoying. It's really terrifying to see someone go through it. It is not just about, the money, the travel, but it comes with so much of mental stress. It is affecting your mental, physical, emotional health, not just yours, but of course, of the people around you, your family as well. And that's what we just don't consider at most times. Also, when it comes to these apps, like the Femtech apps, when you see their privacy policies, some of them, one of the apps, the one with the moon connection, they had stated that they would give away users' personal intimate data to law enforcement and authorities without a warrant. And they were under so much scrutiny for it. And they have now changed their privacy policies to make it seem more legal. but it's the same. So, getting back to Sarah. So, Sarah is another friend who works at a corporate company, and she's really good at her job. She's amazing. She has been working at this company for about 5 to 7 years now, and she's doing great. She is on top of her work. She is respected by everyone, and she is working towards a promotion right now. So, she really wants it. She has worked so hard for this. And one day, she goes to her office as usual, and she sees that she is being kept out of really important meetings. People are not treating her the way she was being treated earlier. And it seems like background noise for a while, but then it gets louder and louder. And she thinks something is really wrong, and she should check what's wrong exactly. And she finds out that her Femtech app data, the Femtech app suffered a data breach. And in the chains of these HR tools or say insurance policy tools, all this data just resurfaced. And within this data was really critical information about her cycle length, her user IDs, symptoms, stress levels, but also that she was trying to conceive. And seeing this, her manager just assumed that she was a maternity risk. Even the words maternity risk is so annoying to say, isn't it? How can be someone maternity risk? She would go on a maternity leave, it's fine, but that does not mean she's not good at her job or she doesn't deserve a promotion. She was just passed over for a promotion that day. And it's just hurtful. Just because she's trying to conceive doesn't mean she's not qualified enough, isn't it? It's just unrelated. But this is how Femtech data could fuel workplace discrimination and bias. This data has the power to weaponize, criminalize users. And it's time that we take it really seriously. She didn't tell her employer she was trying to conceive, but her data did, for sure. There are critical gaps that these apps ignore right now, like manipulative consent mechanisms, lack of data minimization, absence of collective privacy safeguards. Like I said, shared privacy. There's no consideration for anybody else's data. I think there's not enough consideration about users' data, so let alone anybody else's. And there's lack of transparency. Even if you say that some of these apps have now improved their privacy policies or improved their terms and conditions, it is still difficult to get through all of it. You shouldn't need a law degree to understand your reproductive rights, isn't it? It should be easy. It should be easy for the layperson to just understand without any technical terms or legal terms there. Then there's algorithmic bias. So now that we have got all these AI-powered insights into the app, all these AI functionalities, is it still enough to trust it? We have become very complacent with technology in general, so we are very quick to judge and trust it. But again, when it comes to AI, so AI doesn't know you. It just knows the patterns or data it's being trained on. So just say, let's say, Emma is really stressed. Her sleep cycle is not good right now. And her cycle is a bit haywire. It's short sometimes, it's longer sometimes, and it's just lagging behind or just late sometimes. But that's how a real human being would be, isn't it? But if your AI model is trained on an average 28-day cycle, it would say something like this to Emma. Your cycle is irregular. This may indicate a fertility issue. And Emma's like me, an overthinker. I think we all are. We think too much about it. And then she goes, are my hormones off? Am I doing something wrong? And she starts chatting with the AI chatbot now about it. That, tell me what is wrong. I need to know. After like 20 days of chatting with the chatbot, she's like, I need to call my GP. So she calls her GP for a 20-minute telephone appointment. And her GP tells her, no, it's all right. Everything's OK. You don't have PCOD. You don't need to freak out, it's all right. But again, because Emma has spent so much time with her AI chatbot, that she tends to trust it more than her GP. And it's terrible, isn't it? Now she thinks she has PCOD, but she does not. This brings me to taking back your control of your data. It shouldn't feel radical, it should just feel normal. Privacy is not a luxury, it's a human right. This is the basic thing that we forget about. Our health data belongs to us. It's not advertisers, not data brokers, not to governments, not even the apps we use every day. So, ask questions. Ask the right questions before downloading any app. Check what data is optional versus what is required. Like location, you don't need to give your location data to any app. Apple does this thing where they ask if you want your app to track you or not. Please say, ask the app not to track. Do not allow it. This helps at least a tiny bit. Um, Use privacy settings, disable tracking when you can. I understand it's very deep down buried in the apps, but if you find it once, nothing like that. Choose apps that offer local or on-device processing and exercise your rights under GDPR and UK data protection laws. I just want to leave you with this. Real empowerment in Femtech requires recentering privacy, autonomy, and ethical accountability while transforming invisible harms into visible change. We can create a change. It's not impossible. I understand there's too much to go through, but individual everyday actions can actually revolutionize the future of Femtech. And that's why I just want to urge everyone to ask more questions and take control of your data. That's all. Thank you so much. Here's my LinkedIn if you want to follow, and there's my Substack if you want to know more about Femtech and cybersecurity. Thank you. Thank you so much for hearing. Any questions, if we have some time? Yes? I think you can go ahead, yeah.
Thanks for the talk. I just want to, I mean, it's great to have advocacy around these things and awareness. This is great. We work quite a lot with software engineers, especially on writing security
Yes.
things like that. Just want to hear your thoughts on, obviously, some of them are clear negligence that some of these companies or teams who worked on did not put in place things around making privacy policies more clear. But on a technical side, this is one I want to get your thoughts, because some of those techniques you describe, like encrypted data sync and like multi-data storage and
Yes.
multi-user, it does have some technical complexities.
Absolutely.
Some of these, it does make the app more complex, put it this way. And usually we know the app is functional, it's not necessarily secure or safe to use. So would you say this could be due to with lack of understanding or not having SDKs around enabling those features easiest for devs, for people who genuinely they want to enable that in their app, but just takes too much time.
Yeah. I think there's a big gap when it comes to developers. Like, as developers, everyone treats any kind of data as just um, data and not uniquely intimate or personal data. Most of the times, it happens that we don't even see what's being processed. But I think it's again about how much you make everyone aware of it. So let's say if I get it that it's really complex to have all these data practices into it and from the very start. But I think it is time that we educate the developers at least who are building the app that, how do you think you can make it more secure? Or how do you think that this intimate personal data is not accessible to anyone, not even yourself? Because, it's a good example with NHS. So I have a friend who works with NHS. She is a physiotherapist. And she tells me that when she has to she has a support request with IT support that her portal is not working, which has all the patient data into it, which is she is logging into it. But then when she goes for a support request, they ask her to share her screen. And these IT support workers, they see all of the data on the screen, which is such a high risk, isn't it? But this is just basic. So yeah, I understand that it's really complex, but we need to start at very basic right now in educating, not just, that's the thing, everyone keeps thinking about how can we make the app more functional, how can we add more functionality for the users. But then I think it's very critical with this kind of data. It's really personal. There was this um, data breach in EU about cervical cancer research. So it did give access to a lot of data of women who went through the cervical cancer testing. It was all on like publicly accessible after it. And it does not affect just the company who went through the breach. Like it's a reputational loss, it's a financial loss, that's another thing. But the people who went, the users whose data was breached, it's more critical for them, isn't it? So again, when it comes to a company or software developers building an app, I think this is something you need to pinpoint at the very start, that what we are dealing with exactly. I think that answers your question, I'm not sure. Anybody else? Yes. It is there, but it is more focused on NHS, and it is not at all focused on any of these other apps. And in terms of like um, a regulation, I don't think there's any conversation being diverted towards that. It's more about, how can we um, make these companies um, make the privacy policies better, but not in terms of global regulation as such. And it's just terrifying. It's not just the UK, in fact, it's other countries as well where there are restrictive abortion laws. It's so difficult because all these apps are available worldwide now, and they have no consideration as of to what countries women or people are using these apps. And they have really different laws than the UK or the US. And it's terrible because there's lack of awareness, lack of digital literacy. And even their governments are not considering this aspect of Femtech. So yeah. um, any more questions? No? All right. Thank you so much. Thanks for listening. Glad to be here.